Yeah, we messed up. Back when I installed the governor on here, and I shouldn't say we, this was me. This one's all on me, but there's a seal inside this governor that, for whatever reason, this is the only seal I didn't replace. Now, this is something I've known about for a while. It has been bugging me, and part of the reason I'm even more concerned about it is because on the side of this fuel tower, right here, there's actually no seal. There's nothing to seal this on either side. On these old ones, they didn't have it. On the newer ones, they put a seal. Just like right here on this 7J fuel tower, that one's got a seal down there. So, the only thing that seals it, that keeps oil from going into the engine, is the gasket around here and the seal inside this governor. So right now, Dad's working on the threads here. They're a little bit buggered up. We've put the nuts off and on this thing a million times. He's got a triangle file to kind of straighten them up, to get them to start. And yes, he's done that before. But this is the nut that came off of 4G. It's the same thread pitch as the new crank that's in here off of the 7J. But this is the nut that the crank will fit in to turn the engine. And yes, we're going to make it so we can use it. Up here on the bench, we've got the main crank pulley we're going to put on. We've got it painted. There's a keyway for a Woodruff key to hold it. And then there's a lock that will go around after we get that nut tightened in place and bolt into this crank pulley. Now, I've already chased these before we painted it, but I'm going to do it again because inevitably, wherever this ends up is going to be the threads that just don't seem to want to work. Well, it's very possible I hadn't chased those threads before. This is our smorgasbord of big tools, and this is a 7/8 drive, so don't ask me why. It's going. It's just tight. We just cleaned up the threads as best as we could. Dad has put a lot of work into the threads on that, cleaning them up. So what he's doing is just running the nut back and forth on there to make sure that they're nice and clean. Take this plug out of the bottom here of the bell housing. Fortunately, I didn't have it super tight, and man, I love this wrench. All right. This is the Woodruff key.
You got a little bit of oil.
Let me grab some. The reason I took that out is because there's a hole right here through the flywheel that I can put a bar down through here to hold the engine from turning when we tighten the nut on the other side up there where Dad's working. Leftover cat bolts. Now these are the newer ones, but they're left over from the radiator, so we're going to go ahead and use them. I've bought some Caterpillar bolts quite a while back, and these will work perfectly for stuff like this, and I'm not going to paint them. They're black oxide. They'll kind of match the radiator, so nobody's going to see them inside there anyway. Just in case. You guys are upside down, but that's the bottom of the crankshaft, the Woodruff key. We're going to put the pulley on here next.
What?
Dad just fought this thing. He was too high up in the air. You got to get down low and line it up.
It's even loose.
Yeah, it's fine. The nut will tighten it up.
Okay.
Another doomsday dad. It's not the right pulley. This is a different crank. It's not the right part.
Well, that pulley did not come off this crank.
It didn't, but in fairness, you know you do that with every stage of this project, right? Like
Now you're sure there's no washer back?
Yes. There's nothing in the parts book. Nut goes on, then our lock. Okay.
Okay.
Let's snug it up with the wrench. And this is, what size is this thing?
2 3/8.
2 3/8. It's been so long, I forgot. That was like 2 years ago almost.
Yeah.
Year and a half. And if you turn the engine, I'll hold it back here. You're going to have to keep turning it till we get all the way around. Oh. Actually, hang on. I got a hole right there. All right. Now you're holding it. I don't think there was ever 4 bolts in all of these. There's no position that 4 of them lock up. And the witness marks on the back of here, I guess right there and there, indicate that there was only ever 2 holding it. And I don't recall. It was so long ago, and I didn't capture stuff on video like I should. So, yeah, I can get 2 lined up there. I think we're pretty good. You ready?
Yeah.
You got it?
Yeah, don't go too much.
It's turning pretty easy.
That might be it.
It's really turning
Yeah,
easy.
don't go anymore.
You don't think?
No.
Okay, we're almost to this one and this one. If I give it just a smidge more, we'll be just fine. Those are starting, so we'll go ahead and tighten it right here.
See that? Oh, that needs cleaned up too.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. But I got the bar in there holding it in the back.
Oh, okay.
But
you got this?
Yeah, I got it. So I gotta just take this apart and clean it up, and it'll work fine.
All right, now the motor should turn.
Yeah.
Does it turn?
Oh yeah. It's got compression. But yes, it turns. I was very fortunate to get the crank with this machine. It's a 2A3528. Press out this pin in the back of here or in the front. One of them needs to come out so we can get this chucked in the lathe, polish it up, clean it up. And we want to paint all of this.
Ooh.
There it goes. Now we just need a
small
something to press it the rest of the way. Do I trust you?
Should have got a little. That's.
Oh, it's going
easy.
Nice. We'll just clean that up. Dad's punching out the cotter pin.
Maybe.
There's a little seam in there, and there's some rust. I just rolled it over and punched it back from the other side, but as we're punching the cotter key in, it's sandwiching that rust in there. That is one froze cotter key. Here.
Unbelievable.
Try pounding it back from this side a little bit. See if we can work it. Well, I mean, that might do it. Might need a drill.
There it's going.
Is it?
Yep.
Ah, there we go. About time. The remnants of a washer on there, and then the spring here. Thanks again, Kyle. Take that off. And then this should slide off at the end. Oh yeah, it's moving. There it goes. Just get it out of there and then...
You know what? Let me clean some of this rust up.
Yeah, and then we'll put it in the lathe, chuck it in there, and clean it up. It's going. There it goes.
Holy moly.
Yeah. This is the little spring that actually fits inside that pocket behind the pin that lets this spring back and forth, and it is a 3K5733. This plate's a little bent. I'm going to take it over in the press and see if I can just press it out straight. This spring goes in here, followed by the pin that was in there. Now we had to grind this off to get it loose. It's kind of just mushroomed. And that pin goes through here, and it went through this hole, and that allows you to attach that, and then you could pull this against the spring tension and swivel it out of the way. And then this sat like this on the machine with the dog ear to the top. So I guess the next step is going to be figuring out something to do with this pin. Now, I could also tack weld it on here. We're having trouble with our lathe. It's popping the breaker for some reason. We're just getting all this stuff ready so we can paint it, and then we'll put it back together later. I guess we've been delaying the inevitable long enough. Got the froze up 4G original governor off the shelf, and I'm going to open it up and kind of check it. I think that the seal is inside here. The problem, I just opened that up and we can't get this gear out through that front cover without taking the entire front cover off. Trying to get these cotter pins out of here, and they are froze. Everything on this governor is completely froze up. Look at the pitting. If this governor was working properly, this should just come right off of here, but it is froze. Yeah, it was all froze up before. This wouldn't even budge. Now it, there we go. This should not be this froze. No. There's something majorly wrong here.
There it went.
It needed a heat release.
It's still tighter than the devil.
Yeah. Here we go. Hey! Might be hot. Still. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to take heat.
Well, we'll leave some pressure on it, and I'll get the torch back out. It's probably going to be hot. It's coming.
This is Sparta!
Oh, it's off. All right.
You got the puller?
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
No, all you got to do is pull that out. That's it. There you go. There we go. Now, that whole thing should just slide out of there now.
Yeah.
No, it'll slide out.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, there's our seal. That's it. That's what we're worried about. I don't know if that one over there's got it. Let's go take a look.
It's different. It's inside there.
Yes. It's not here. I don't know. What do we do? So, we're going to go ahead and make an executive decision here to leave this governor alone, because it's going to entail taking off this whole front cover, pulling that crank pulley back off of here, and honestly, we could do all of that for nothing.
It's time for me to go home. My gloves are tore.
Yeah, that's Dad's timing indicator. When he tears a pair of gloves, he hates using new gloves. If you've probably seen him in some of the videos, his gloves are shredded, but he won't quit wearing them. It's cold, it's snowy, and we're getting one more Hail Mary from winter. But I want to go out in the shop and check a few things, because I think I know exactly where we messed up. You might be asking, so, well, how did you mess up? Let me explain, and let me explain to you how much work we're going to have. Because we used the governor off of 7J that has no seal in it, That leaves us with two options. The first option is to remove the front cover off the engine, remove the governor, and replace it with the governor off of 4G, which you just saw us take apart and it was completely froze up. Another problem is we just rebuilt this fuel tower and this lift pump. But this lift pump won't work on the other fuel tower. That's because this fuel tower has no seals in it on either side. The fuel tower off of 7J has a seal in it. You can see it clear inside there on the other side. Now, we didn't want to use this fuel tower because we didn't like the flange that goes over here to the side that deadheads the water system into it. Seems like more places for a potential leak, but it does have the disposable filters inside, so that is a plus. As much as I try to keep 4G completely original, it's kind of hard. And towards the end of the 4G series, let me show you something that they changed. This is a 7J book. From 7J1 to 7J398, they had the governor just like on our 4G with the seal in the back of it. That was changed at 7J399 to a governor without a seal in it. And that is what we have in the engine right now. For comparison, here's the 4G book, and it clearly shows the governor with the seal in the back. When I open up the 4G parts book here to the fuel tower section, you can clearly see the one that we have, the one that we got going. But when I turn the page, you can see that they noted a retrofit for machines 4G1 to 4G5140, all inclusive, to be affixed with that fuel tower over there. Down here in the bottom, it says for field installation. The 4G tractors should have been upgraded in the field or at some point in their lives to this style of fuel filter. Which is kind of amazing that our 4G never was. And although we just rebuilt the lift pump for this unit on the 4G's original fuel tower, we'll have to do this one over here for the 7J. Because as the fuel towers changed, the lift pumps changed as well. In fact, there were more changes for lift pumps even past the fuel towers. The good news is, at least we know how to do it. The bad news is, we got a lot of extra work ahead of us. Most of this is on me because I just couldn't stand not to have everything as original as possible. So, that's where we're at. And that's going to be a lot more work. But I do want to thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Trying to get these Cotterkins. You guys have probably already figured out we're really doubling down on the 4G videos this month. We really want to buckle down and get this done. We want this project done. And after taking apart that governor, I don't think we should have rebuilt this tractor.